Risk identification and assessment form the basis for sound risk response options. Once a risk has been identified as being above the project risk tolerance line, the project team must identify a strategy to best respond to the risk. Remember, the goal of risk management is not to eliminate all project risk. Rather, the goal is to recognize when to respond if risk exceeds the project tolerance levels. For example, risk-intolerant projects will actively attempt to manage risks regardless of where they fall in the matrix. On the other hand, risk-tolerant projects might be willing to accept a great amount of risk without intervening to actively manage the situation. If the project decides to actively manage a risk, response strategies include the following options, or a combination of options. Risk avoidance: do not do, or do in a different way, some portion of the scope that carries high impact and/or a high probability of risk. For example, a project might choose not to work in a geographic area because there is too much insecurity. Risk transference: shift, or share, the risk for some aspect of the project to, or with, another party. The most common example of risk transference is insurance. For example, insurance policies transfer the risk of vehicle damage and loss to the insurance company. Risk reduction/mitigation: act to reduce the probability and/or impact of a potential risk. Take, for example, a project that is concerned about the risk of commodity theft. The probability of potential theft can be reduced by increasing the security systems for the building, guards, new doors, barred windows. The impact of potential theft can be reduced by instituting a policy whereby only the commodities required for the next 7 days are safeguarded in the warehouse. Risk acceptance: if the perceived probability and impact risk is assessed as reasonable, an organization can choose not to take action. For example, a project may acknowledge that it faces the possibility of a late rainy season onset interrupting its agricultural cycle, but the team chooses to live with the risk, and does not act to avoid, transfer, or mitigate it. For more complex projects and projects with more uncertainties, a risk register document provides a more formal and more detailed identification of risks and the plan for addressing them. Similar to a red flag list, the project register provides project managers with a list of significant risks. However, the risk register also contains information about the magnitude of probability and impact of risk occurrence. It may also include proposed mitigation responses, owners of the risk, and current status of the risk. The risk register can also include information about the cost and schedule impacts of these risks. While the format of the risk register can vary by organization or by the project,